Good morning, how are you? Good afternoon. No, good evening. Maybe, yeah, it's good evening. I don't even know what time is out there. I don't even know how many people are out there. I don't even care about any of those things. So, but still, I am pretty much out of Facebook and we are still posting things on Facebook. One way I say I am pretty much out of Facebook, then I go and do live shows. No, I don't do live shows on Facebook anymore. Let me see if I can post this on my page and the page. Oh, yeah, it is. Some people hate me typing into it. They say my facial expression goes like weird during a live show, especially when I start typing. So yeah, the picture is like, oh my god, yeah, I am here and this is I'm going on a little trip outside of my city. I'm going to Kansas. Uh, both of my both not of my kids, both kids of my brother are getting graduation. My nephew is graduating from college. My niece is graduating from high school. It's all going to happen this weekend, multiple days. So I'm going there tomorrow. Actually, early morning tomorrow. I'm flying out to Detroit and from Detroit to Kansas. So. Wow, what a day. I tried everything. This is one day I will say I tried everything. When I woke up in the morning, completely missed the timing of a baseball game. Then one of my friend actually joined me for the baseball game. He actually alerted me. Okay, are you at the game? I was like, it's a little too early to be at the game. He's like, no, we are first innings. Because the game started at 12:10 when I was actually taking a shower at 12:10. So how do we go about this? These new points where I'm a little more open in actually like writing the blogs. I'm just looking at some of the reaction from Facebook. So yeah, the oh my god scenario is there because it took from say October, November, December, January, February. No, October to November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Now we are on May 10th. This is almost 7 months. There is a point, from where I haven't moved. So this is why I said, oh my God, this has to come to a conclusion. But there is no proper conclusion because if you are not seeing anything beyond a certain point, there is no conclusion at that point because everything must conclude at that point. But is there anything beyond that point? Especially when it comes to matter of love and romance. See, when you really love and romance a person and you don't see anything beyond that person. See, if you are romancing a person and say, oh yeah, if this doesn't work, I will try with another person, then you are not actually romancing that person. You're trying to work out on a relationship. Which can end pretty much after the first sexual encounter with that person. End of story. I'm not that kind of a person. I am trying to build. I know people are going to boo at me. Everybody goes through this phase. I mean, the previous phase I'm saying, where you are in a relationship, but then you look at the options. There's always a plan B. I'm a guy with 2-3 different plans. But when it came to this situation on the present, I very clearly told, this is it. I'm not going to take all my feelings from this person. If things are not working out with this person, I'm not going to take that and go and find somebody else and take all those feelings and modify those feelings to fit for the other girl or the new girl. I am not even fitting my feelings, old feelings, into the new girl. I am trying to make up new feelings, make up new stories, even taking some of these old poems that doesn't fit into any other things. I'm actually bringing it into the new context. But that's not molding the old feelings. What I'm actually saying is, okay, the new context gets a new feeling, and the new feeling is going to be built into it, instead of the old feeling molded to a new girl. You understand? It's the other way around right now. So that is a 180-degree turn. As I have, a green card, that's what I was saying. He's seeing there, I'm not really talking a lot about that because that chat can go bizarre crazy. I already have a green card. I don't need to marry any American or English or anybody in that matter to get a status here. I already have a status. I came here legally, completely legally. I came here. I was never illegal. I never did anything illegal in here. I never committed a crime in my life. I only one time in my entire, actually I should say 2 times in my entire nearly 20 years of driving record, I got pulled over. Both times the cop was so much impressed with my behavior, they made non-moving violations. One time I was going high speed, but I was very apologetic to him. Another time, I was not knowing that there was a no U-turn sign there. I didn't really see that because I was looking most of the time that U-turn signs are on the side, medians, and they keep. But these guys kept the no U-turn sign way up, so I didn't really see that at all. So both times, they made it. I was very apologetic and everything, so they made it a normal violation. Now, what is this trip about? I told my nephew and niece, they are both getting graduated from different places. This is going to come to a grinding halt right after that. That's what this show. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do the shows during Ramadan. It depends on how things are. But I'll be doing my walks. No walk for love. I won't be going to the mall, but I'll be going to the, because it will be late by the time I finish my evening prayer. Then there is the first, I would say, afternoon prayer. The noon prayer, afternoon prayer, then the evening prayer. The evening prayer is where, where we break the fast at sunset. And right before that, there is a prayer. So I don't get a lot of time between that and the fast break, so I have to walk at least 45 minutes. So my plan is that go to the lakeside and take 45 minutes of walk, and that will actually help me physically and energetically, because it makes me, even though right after the break of fast I always go down, but this way I'll be more active and more productive. That's the exact word I can say. More productive than previous years. I know when I was a student I did that, but that was 30. That was really 30 years ago. I was like 18, 19 years old. Recently I posted a picture of me at about 15, 16 years old on Facebook, and people like that. Some people actually came with a comment that that you were tough and smileless. Yes, I was tough and smileless. I was rough in many ways. Always on a grumpy mood. So said all that. These poems which I'm going to bring, I'm going to get to the poem. The poems are connected to present situations. Both poems which I'm going to say present here are written way back, way back, and these poems are not short. The first poem I'm going to present is Sights and Sounds. Sights and Sound is a poem which I wrote a while back. So there is a blog part in it, which I don't want to really repeat the whole thing here. I will give you a brief idea, but I'm going to say the context more than which is not there in the blog exactly. Let me do a quick spell check on this. It's yeah, it need to be ignored. Okay. So I'm going to actually make it onto the side. Okay. Let me go back to this. I am on Ustreamy dashboard. I should not be on dashboard. I'm getting it, I know the questions comes in, the red thing will come up. I'm getting questions, regarding this. I don't want to really jump into anything. The poem. Yeah, I didn't really read the poem. Yes, that's the thing. Afterwards, I did a show. Last show, I didn't read the poem Sights and Sounds. Okay, because it's a pretty long poem. I need more time. Last time, even though we spent I needed to spend time on explaining something else. So I went for that. I'm going to actually say, I'm going to go through that. I don't want to. I don't want to really go too much into it. The original Sights and Sound poem was written in 2010. It only had the first 20 lines. So that's what I want to really make sure that you guys understand. The original poem was just sights and sounds which I'm hearing when the spring was actually sprouting out. It never had an intro. It never needed one. So that is the thing I need to come down to. When you read, you will know it doesn't connect to any romance. The first 20 lines is not romantic. It's not like I'm telling my romantic person. Not many, couple of people, okay, I cannot say many people, couple of people at least. There was this Lalana Veniku, I don't know where she is. She was a very big fan of my poetry. All of a sudden she disappeared from Facebook. She had a thing, Lalana Veniku used to post pictures of other girls on her Facebook as her. Her claim was she was a very young person or something like that, which I don't know, which after some time I can understood that she's not very young. She's posting pictures of her younger years, that's what I believed. But somebody told me this is all a fake account, which usually I think Facebook delete or something like that, but whatever. But whoever that person really was, at that time interpreted this as a poem where I am actually expressing these things to a girl, and these sights and sounds is a description of the girl. Yeah, you can interpret my poem, even though I have no intention of doing that. This is a pretty much, in 2010. The poem was written in 2010, in early spring, and then what I did was, this is where a deliberate writing to show how I can write poems away from relationships. This, of course, you understand. So that was my intention, even though it was interpreted as the first 20 lines of this Sights and Sounds updated poem. It was interpreted as my description about a girl. Then I took the poem and then I added a lot to it. I took the poem to connect to the present day romantic reality. So, instead of completely abandoning writing a new poem, which may not really make a lot of sense, so what I did was, the interpretation as is from Lalana is adapted to my I may have to take it. I don't want to drool through my nose during a live show, okay? See, my show is realistic. A lot of things happens in my show. Sometimes even I may drool through my nose even during the show. And I drink. You see, I drink. This is so we drink. They get some ad. I love this drink. This is citrus and ginseng and same things like that. About the ginseng joke, there was a joke. I will tell about that too. Okay, let me come to all this. Then I took that thing and added to the present reality. After the first 20 lines, I connected it all in the end. So I took the poem and brought to the present day reality that there is a girl. So how can I connect something which I wrote without the context of a romance into a personal romance. That was idea. Uh, so if you read just the bottom, leaving the first 20 lines, if you leave the rest of it, it doesn't stand on its own. That's how I intended. At least that was idea. So I'm going to go into the poem and I'm going to read it out. I may have to show you briefly what is that person. I put a girl's picture because the realistic girl have wear glasses. So I wanted, so many of the posts I actually post here on my lonelypearl.com. The pictures have glasses. The person have glasses. So some pictures, there are a couple of pictures that came pretty close to the original person. But that's what somebody said. Okay, why don't you put convince her and put her picture right here? See, I'm not going to do that. And even if we are related, and even if she agrees, I'm not stupid to actually put my girlfriend's picture into a poem. Everybody about whom I have written poems hated me. So I don't want that to happen with this girl. This is the only girl. This is it. This is the last girl. End of story. So this is about her. I'm going to bring the poem up. I hope you guys can see this very clearly. I don't know. I just want to make sure it's still recording. Sometimes it can stop. So I'm going to let me close this so I'll get enough space. I think I need 2 or 3 different screens which I can connect everything to my briefly to my computer and see if I can work with that. What I'm going to do is, I should have done this before. Okay, you can see the girl. This is an actual girl. That's a girl. Here is the poem. So let's do this magic now. So I want to make sure that everything is perfect here. Okay, so I'm going to be in there. The name of the poem is Sights and Sounds. Thousands of rays of sun upon me fell as rain with her soothing sounds away from me ran, and to the dancing rays asked, from which lover you stole the warmth. Every step with care laid, as away the crickets jumped, the fresh moon gone under the legs kissed, as through plains the body mine carried. The little stream in steadiness flowed, the humming birds from flower to flower flown, the woodpecker in haste again and again pecked, the tree held the hands of wind and swayed. From the small pond Mama Frog hopped, and under the dead willow wood hid. The wild cat in disappointment looked, as the cardinal after sharpening his beaks whistled. These sights and sounds always took mind in a journey in which foot always ahead laid, but the ageless soul rejuvenates when relived the wonders I thought with childhood days gone. The rejuvenated soul through the wilderness wandered, wilderness of a world made wicked by men and women. Ah, what wonderful ways, well-paved lay empty, as journeys travelled were to inside than material. Time, the healer of all, stood by and laughed out loud, as the path went on and on, interweaving with others. Ah, life all through time and space played, a melancholic melody in the rhythm of a broken heart. The feelings of affection a soul to bury again tried, but the mockery of life evolved into romantic clarity. Oh, dreams that wept and slept all around woke, but abandoned them all and observed to write a new verse. The verse that will tell the story of love in everything new, and one by one stories based on past where the new girl wrote, as back into loneliness fell to tell the stories loud and clear. In soliloquy and abandoned like a tree leaves the leaves in fall. But every story that left a mark in heart that ached, and the path took turns to reality and fantasy surprisingly, echoes from past, though brutally separate still rang devilish bells. Ah, every playful push by her gave birth to demons that hid my love. Away from my heart to doubts and indiscipline and past acts of failure. And again she pushed to stay out of sight, making me an unbeliever of love, romance, and every good that comes from every act of care. Oh, prayers failed as passions eroded and the demons danced in ecstasy. Winter fell ill as the armies of spring defeated the frost and cold. All the feelings she pushed away under the icy cold lake started flowing as spring erased all that blocked. Mind found ways to kill every demonic thought and found a new prayer. Oh, those sights and sounds that echoed from the childhood days joined hands with the singing spring to erase every mark, to rejuvenate heart into love when looked into the bright eyes of her. One last time romance prepared the story of love that forever unites us. Sights and sounds, 52 lines long. Somebody said this poem is very long. 52 lines is nothing. Song of the Dying Nightingale is 95 lines long. Okay, and there are other poems which I have written in romantic feelings. That's a part of the book which I'm going to add to Age of Survival. Romantic feelings have some poems are 120 lines long. So I know the readers for these kind of long poems, large ones that comes in, they are a handful. And I don't know whether I'm writing it to the present crowd. I don't know whether there will be any crowd. There is no crowd. A present day reader. Down the road, when this generation or the coming up generation who don't have any habit of reading poetry, they are already have not molded into a poetic mind. But I know there is down the road, there is going to be a generation that is going to come back and take all these and read. And I just want to put it out there for them. I hope I'll be alive to see at least couple more in generation and a couple more generations after, when those young folks going to take these kind of poems, and take the long ones and read that and enjoy it. And that's my prayer, that I want to do good things right now so that those good things can be enjoyed down the road by at least myself and maybe a couple of people who will find it useful. If I see that, these days I see, there are a couple of people, not couple, there are a bunch of people who really likes my poetry, who really loves, reading them, enjoying them. Some of them really love my blogs. That is very enjoyable. That's the idea. I spend my own money from my pocket to actually put these things on web and put it out there. Then, down the road, I don't know how this is all going to be a permanent situation. This is where I am really active about. I don't even know what websites really will stay forever. I may have to get that permanent setup, which I do not have a specific plan or idea. How do I make this permanently available online? I can rely on Facebook or MySpace. Look what, in 2003 or 2004, if somebody tells you that MySpace is going to be gone, they will spit on your face and throw hot water on your face and say, get out of here. What happened to them? They just gone, obliterated because of the arrival of Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. YouTube itself. Many people, instead of doing written blog, they are going into YouTube and doing live. Now live, and before that they are doing vlogs, video logs, and there are sites like Blog TV where I did all of them. I wrote and then I put it in there. and right now I'm using Ustream. That's the way things are. I mean, so we cannot. What is the way? If something, even if something fails, this is available permanently for people. I am looking at many options, where I can bring in, because there is considerable amount of writing. It's not small. Even when you take memories of it, there is, it's like these shows go for like, 1 hour, 2 hours, into doing shows. And these, if I'm going to download these files, it will be pretty big, and the bandwidth needed to actually play these things are going to be huge. What technology can actually compass these things and keep it, archive it and keep it, things like that. It takes time. So I have to say all these things. I said 1 second. Like I said, my show, like me, is dynamic. My show, like me, is energetic. And yeah, there are poems which I have written. I'm coming to the next one. There are poems I have written with specific thoughts in mind. I mean, this is not something I do to impress someone. This is something I do to express something. Sometimes it works, sometimes, most of the time, it just doesn't. Because it is very difficult for a generation to really understand. I'm not blaming them, I'm part of them. Okay? I am part of a problem where people detached from things. I myself have actually gone through a situation where I don't really care about what is out there. And even though it's a while back, when I said I don't care about what is out there, means okay, whatever that is out there, behind me, I mean not physically, in my past, I was like, does it really matter whether those things are already coming into us? We need to live the moment. We need to look into the future. That's where I actually thought about it. Then experience a lot of different situations that came to me actually taught me most of the things that we do and think is the one that is actually making the present the present. And whatever we are thinking in present is going to resonate into a future. So that's how the time actually works with space. If you look at time itself is, becomes, it is interweaved with space. But the problem is, you take it out, the space has existence of its own. The moment space is, if you can detach it from time, it's impossible, because it is completely mingled together. But if space for some reason comes to a constant, okay, then time will actually come to a grinding halt, which doesn't happen because we are all moving. So we know there is a time that keep on moving because we are moving too. But if, say for example, the whole systems come to a grinding halt, then space means something. That's a time when time will actually detach from space and it doesn't have an existence. This is why I am telling people, when you think about things philosophically, it all sounds like you say time and space is intervened, interweaved. One doesn't exist without the other. That relation, the great theory of relativity by Einstein, is so right. He was precise to the point and an absolute reality. This is so much together. But I'm not contradicting him. I'm not, because I am actually agreeing with him 100%, because his theory actually proven to us that a point at which if it stops, okay, the movement of everything stops, then this thing is impossible to differentiate. What is time? The time will lose its meaning, space will lose its meaning, because Doesn't matter, whether space exists. The object that is there in the space only matters. So somebody recently was showing an experiment about how gravity will work, because gravity is intervened with the space and time, of course. And he put a rubber thing, a rubber sheet-like thing is tied to all around. It's like round, and he put these different balls in it, or spherical objects into it. I don't know, I cannot call it specific balls. Those things started moving, and here's the problem: the big ones moved, and it comes to the center, and the small ones started going around. And he said this is how this whole solar system and other planets and everything works. Okay. But we forget a fact that one is connecting to the another, and then when it moves. So, for example, when sun moves, or if there's a big object in the middle, when it moves, it generates a movement to the other ones because it's mass. So when you look at that, it gives you an idea. Even though I'm not theologically, competent to really say that, or these principles, because I'm not a physicist or anything. But still, you will understand, oh shoot, man, this is right. Because when the relation of space, because when it is taking space, and because of its mass, it moves, and when it moves, it is generating movement for the other ones too. So even though the small ones are saying, okay, I want to stop, it can't, because the first one is actually dragging it along. Because of its movement, everything else is moving too. So I guess this is the best way you can say about gravity, because gravity, even though it's not catching something up, it moves on its own. That's how the gravity is generated, because of movement. So if you want to stop the gravity, well, you may have to stop the earth. So, but still perplexed was when somebody was actually telling, even another YouTube video which I saw, which was very fascinating. He said, see, there are areas where this movement becomes intense and without any objects. Because the moment you take objects away, there is something that is making it all move fast. Because we can see there's a lot of gravity there. Black holes. So that's much more perplexed. That's where I'm going to come down to this. And even though there is no direct connection between black holes and planets and everything I said to here, we should not forget the facts behind things. Hide not within forgetfulness. That's the name of the poem. I'm going to get to the blog of this. This is a fascinating poem which I have written, and the fascination came much more crazily because it was, the model I was actually looking at is, it's clearly the Hide Not Within Forgetfulness was originally written. The idea of this is, I think you guys are, absolutely, and I'm sincerely thankful to you all for understanding this whole thing. Some people may misunderstand it. That's what I thought they are going to. They didn't. Okay. And I'm losing words right now to actually say how thankful I am. The original idea was written, I was like 83, 84 time. I was in India. We guys will stand in line in front of our school to look at all this, because we studied in a boys' only school. Okay, it was not a mix-up school. So the girls' school is a separate one. So the girls will be going. One day I was standing there with a couple of my friends. We are eating ice candies. That is one of them, because it's very hot. So we are eating ice candies in this early morning. Okay, right after breakfast. We are there. We are around 9ish because the school starts at 9:45. So I'm in the middle school. I think I'm getting into the high school from that point. So I was seeing, there's a car that came and stopped, and there's there's a boy coming out of the car, but there is a girl sitting there. That's what I'm saying. Who was sitting in the car and gave a look at me with the corner of her eyes. She's like, if she's sitting like this, she's like, the corner. She was like, look at me. So I was whispering to my friend, Mijutiar, who, unfortunately committed suicide. It's a loss I will never forget. That guy. He's such an amazing friend. He was actually telling me, and he said, and she kind of had a little smile because she understood that our look is going directly to her. And he said, somewhere there is a feeling, there is a twitch in her heart. The exact word. I didn't really write it there. Because even quoting those things, I remember, it's like a twitch in her heart was there, and she just hid it. That's where the smile came out. And I asked, okay, why hide what you feel, forgetting that our reality is a very short time? This is where I am coming down to all the planets and everything. Because of these constant movements, you take a piece of time, and when you look at it in a bigger perspective, we only have a very, very minuscule of time. Now you understand why I spend about maybe 5-10 minutes. I don't know how much time I spend, maybe 5 minutes just explaining what this is. That's not a proper explanation because I'm not an expert in physics and astronomy and things like that. But still, now you know, when one thing is trying to connect to the other, there is that energy connection that comes between two people. And that time, there is one group of people actually trying to disconnect this. And this is where this poem gets its relevance. So that's what I was saying, what's what I will read out is, in saying, I said, in my naiveness, I asked, why hide what you feel, forgetting that our reality is a very short time? In all probability, she heard that girl, very fantastic girl. Later, that boy who came out of the car, later he became a very good friend of me, and I used to call that girl sister because she became something like a sort of a romance, with her. Because like you were saying, at 13, what are you going to think? But these things which I have written, I have written in at that time. I used to keep something like a journal. I hide it so that I don't want anybody to read it. And later, I wrote a song. And I'm 129% sure what kind of song it was. It was a very pathetically, folk tune which I took and wrote this idea into that tune. And I was very young. I think maybe I was I think it was in the college. I was, there was a pre-degree course during that time. Then when I was leaving, all these things were taken out and put it into a flower pot, in the big flower pot, put it in there, I burned it. And the original song was gone. Okay. That's where I came. In 2002, when I went back to India, I took this diary, from I think, at that time I think my nephew, niece, sister, brother, everybody read all these things, even though they couldn't make sense of what are things I'm writing. I sat there, I think, on top of my house and wrote this first part of the poem. It's like a first draft. It was not even a finished one. The idea was there. I wrote it, and it was amazing. I loved what I wrote at that time. The reason why I took this poem was when it was originally written with the song was written with the other girl. Okay. And I can say I have to confess that the original song was written with the girl I saw at 13, even though I didn't really had any sexual feelings for her or romantic feelings for her. Once I became friends with his, my friend, but that her brother, when I talked to her, I understood she's such a, fascinating person. I mean, she had her own grubbiness and all the other things that she goes through at times. Such a fascinating person. She got married and she lived. I don't know where she is right now, but she was older than me too. Even the boy, her brother was older than me. So, and it is a thing, where I actually took that and wrote this saying that, okay, why would she cut it out? I mean, there is that good feeling she got in her heart about me. I don't know, but it was about me or Mujtia or maybe another guy. But the look into me, so it probably is me. So yeah, that's what triggers things. So when you really meet a person. I have had met people whom I met online, and when I met them in real, I couldn't connect to them at all. That happened to me in my real life too. So after writing the original poem, no girl in mind at that time, because the girl I first loved became the sister in my mind at that time. So when I really wrote the poem in 2002, I took the girl out. So there is no girl. It was just hide not these feelings. Why would any girl? So no specific girl. I wrote this poem later, trying to make it a Mukushla poem. Okay, and the Mukushla herself, who is a fantastic poet, she understood. Okay, this is not a normal poem that is coming from in the present day situation. She knows this is a blast from the past. So she took that and didn't comment at all, because that was her promise, that she will leave a comment. I requested her, can you leave a comment to all my poems, if you can. She didn't comment at all for this poem. She didn't ever said anything about what is this. And there are times when she broke the promises. That's where our differences of opinion started, even though we were never in a romantic relationship or anything like that. So I rewrote this poem. I was trying to make this a Mukushla poem. It didn't really was successful. It was not successful, and I took it and made it another poem, another version, as a third version. I don't know whether I still have. I looked in Xanga whether the original exists, but because the original itself was modified and corrected. So that part I may have to look into my CD archives. If that original, the one I put in Xanga first, the first version, second version, whether it was there, I don't know. Any one of them exists right now. So from there, when going through this such a long explanation, this is a poem that will actually confuse the girl. I'm going to say a real life situation right now after this. Zane. I'm going to say a brief thing about Zane. Zane is, as you may see, she's very cute, beautiful, pure girl when you look at her. No, I have to say no. She's not that she was found in a live porn site. She was a model there. She speaks English, so another person actually told me that girl speaks English. You may want to really talk to her. She kind of sings songs during her live shows. And when I went there, Zania was not in the perfect of the conditions because she was not wearing any shirt or pant. She was wearing something like a shorts. It is a pretty warm time at that time, so I understand. She's from Latvia, so she was just sitting there and talking to people. And she was, talking through her mouth and sort of type-chatting. So anybody who takes a private chat, she will actually show things. So I I know this is going to be a tedious task, and if I try to talk to her, I think at that time I did one private with her and said, okay, my idea is writing poetry, but usually I don't really look at girls in a sexual way to write. No, I'm a romantic poet, not a sexual poet. She at that time said, you may want to write something sexual about in your poetry. I said, no. And at that time, there was a situation that happened where, we were very, very, very good in communication. Suddenly, there is something that struck her, and she took a 180-degree turn, because I told her that I don't want her to see her naked or things like that. I'm upfront and honest on things. I told her that, and she put on something like a gown-like thing, what do you say, a robe, like a light robe, she put that on, and we were chatting, and I don't know what really went. I was not even saying anything romantic. Part of this poem, I was actually telling her, this is part of a poem which I'm writing, which I wrote, it is there, and she read that and said, okay, I'm getting another private chat request, so you please hold on, be there, give me like 1-2 minutes. What she did, the next thing was, oh God. And I was like, not totally naked, topless, I was like, oh. You see, I'm not gay to actually say, oh no, I don't want to see it, but I was like, oh, now this is, I'm taking a completely different context. Here's a comeback to that. That's why I'm saying more things than what I wrote there. Then there was a comeback, and after doing whatever she did for the other guy, she said, okay, that's done, so let's come here. Okay, she said, I remember, she kicked him out because he was, very nasty. He was doing nasty things. I don't know what it was. So then she put that back on and said, okay, I can read this poem for you. I can read this poem. I said, where? She said, I can read it out, and maybe you should make a recording of it. I said, okay, tomorrow you read this poem, learn it, and I sent her this poem by message. You read this poem. That's where she came and read the poem. The video of which you can see. If she comes and try to disagree with any of the things I said, I will say this is exactly what happened. So she agreed. Because of that, Zani read the poem, but it was not written about her. But this thing happened. She left afterwards. I don't know where she is now. Maybe found some guy from there who may be taking care of her. But she's, of course, when you see her, she's an extremely beautiful girl. When the next day when she came, the dress she was wearing is not a perfect fit for her, because she borrowed the dress from some other girl, and it was very hot. So there is this air cooler thing that was, something like this, was blasting onto her. So that sound is also there. So the whole audio recording became a mess. Now, I said all that because that is a reality that was there. Okay, now I know what is going on here. That reality existed. And the present day situation is a different reality. This is much more pure. Zane is pure looking. I'm not saying the present day girl is not pure looking. She is. She's a nice girl, very good-hearted person as far as I know. On another note, nobody can actually specifically predict or say this is how it is, this is how a person is, and come out and say I read everything in her mind. Nobody can do that. Nobody can dig deep into a girl's heart and say this is what she's thinking about me or anybody else in that matter. Some people stay together for 20-30 years and they understand, okay, there is a different person inside of that person. That I have seen it happening in reality many times. So now I'm coming to this new girl. Yesterday I met the girl I truly, honestly, sincerely like. This is one thing I need to really say. I really, really like a girl. I didn't use the word love. previously I used to say love to a lot of things. What is love? I defined it many times, and it need to happen from two people. So then only love will happen. I'm not going to say love is happening between us, but I like the girl. She's not very dumb or anything like that. She's a very intelligent girl. So after the first thing, casual romance, I felt really positive, and I don't know what all things I said. Maybe I just lost my things, and she was asking me, I haven't seen you in a while. Then I asked her, how is life treating her? Then she came back and said, I haven't seen you in a while. The third time, when she asked, okay, I haven't seen you in a while, I'm on a defensive right now. She was like, where is she going with this? I came back, and then I went to the coffee shop. I sat there. I was trying to write something, and ended up with nothing coming out because I'm thinking about this conversation. So I was like, whenever I see a person afresh, I usually give a gift. So that's what I thought. I may give her a gift, but I don't have anything. So I only had a baseball, a autographed baseball by all the Milwaukee Brewers in the opening day lineup. Starters, they signed the ball. I bought that ball. It's not very expensive. It's like $12. So I thought, okay, maybe I will give it to her so that she can keep it as a memento. I gave it to her, and I went there, saw her again. I took one cologne, even though I don't really need a cologne, even though I cannot afford to buy a cologne, very expensive colognes. But in a drugstore, there's cheaper cologne instead, so it smells good. So I took that and I said, okay, can you sell me this? And she called her associate and said, okay, only he can do this, for whatever reason. Then I gave her the gift, and she refused, completely refused. And I was like, whoa, when somebody giving you a gift, she said, I don't want this. You should keep. No. And I was like, maybe I should get you some girly stuff. And she told me, no, I don't need anything. And maybe there are other customers and associates, and then the associate came and he helped me out, and she went away. And that was another thing, if there is any kind of care coming from the other side, maybe I turned her off. I don't know what happened. The gift offer, and I went back, and on my way out, I saw her, talked to her again, and I don't know. At that time, I was saying, she said, yeah. She again told me, I haven't seen you in a while. I said, okay, I cannot see anything inside your store. She works in a store, so I cannot. I'm not sure whether I can come in without. I need to buy something in when I'm going into such a small store. If it is like a big store like Macy's or Boston stores, things like that, you can just walk around the store. This is a store that's very small, specifically meant for age group which I don't belong. So I was like, I went out. I was like, still, there is things didn't end, things didn't start, nothing happened. So I was just walking, and I was like, hide not within this thing, hide not within forgetfulness. I just said that thing when I was actually I walked out of the store, and I was walking, and I was just saying this, and I was like, this is the exact thing. There is that interest, and there's a positive thing that comes and cut off. This is that's the origin of the poem in the first place. So that brought me to hide not within forgetfulness. This poem, I have read it aloud in Blog TV, and I think there is a video of me reading the poem. But right now I'm going to read the poem anyway. I'm going to bring the poem up, set you up for that. This is the poem, and hope you will enjoy it. There you go. Hide not within forgetfulness. Mother Nature kept her eyes closed as darkness all around loomed. Winter, a season many don't want to feel, and in the season of winter upon your eyes I looked, and warmth of care and love cloaked me. In your warm smiles and caring words woke nature all around earlier than almanac spoke. Nesting birds as if in meditation sang to bring rain. In the spring rain upon your eyes I looked. Nature stealing colors for flowers I saw. Sun from far joined nature's dance. The glitters of morning dew spread. The pollens all around flowed. In the summer warmth upon your eyes I looked, and calm and cool the restless mind became. Realities to my mind rushed. Rationers in soliloquy argued. Then I sang, forget me not, O darling, forget me not, for in your heart resides the loving heartbeat of mine. Enslave the body, enslave the actions, enslave the speech, but when it comes to soul, in love surrender it, for you I will. Hide not, oh darling, hide not, for in the blink of your eyes I feel the breath of mine synchronized. Every breath of mine in penance I surrender for the gladness of yours, oh dear. A thousand dreams I can weave, but they all on the smileless face of yours will melt. So forward to keep your smile I pledge. So hide not if any feelings for me you have. Spread to my mind the calmness of autumn dusks. There you go. So this is hide not within forgetfulness. So I am explaining this because there is a lot. I can write that blog, rewrite. Maybe I should, based on what all things I said, I may have to rewrite the blog, or leave the video along with it, even within the blog, or this is a video blog, so I am going to sit here, oh, calm down. You see, the people were saying my belly reduced. I don't know, I can stand up, you see. If I stand up like this, this is the way it is. So what can I do? That's the way it is. When I say it may bulge a bit, So, people say I reduced the weight and I have to stand up at points, So, I stood up, if that's what you want to see, okay. But don't tell me to stand butt naked and dance, I'm not going to do that. Today, I was in Boston store and I was actually talking to a lady. She's Indian origin. I mean, Indian, not, any other thing, I do something very quick. Okay. Indian, she's of Indian origin and she, my focus is completely blown now. Now it is like a R&B show. I don't know how do I fix this. In the middle of a show, can I fix that? I think the camera got blown. Let me see. Yeah, it's kind of messed up right now. I don't know how do I fix it. Let me see this. I think there is a way one can actually do this. I need to go into the settings. No, advanced. That will bring this up to camera control and say focus is 27. That's why. Report. See, it wasn't allow me to do anything. Is it too okay? Better, isn't it? Okay. I should have taken the water out of it. Yeah, I have a little more explanation to do. It's already 58 minutes. Yeah, I know this is 2 poems. It's going to go beyond an hour. So, where was I? I was talking about my big belly and all those things, when we actually get into a connecting between two people, that's what I was about to say. I don't know, I lost the train of thought because of this focus and disconnect and all those things. When we connect to a person, there are different levels of a relationship. First level is when you actually have a casual, like what I did, go and just talk to a person. The next level of that conversation goes into a much more close, approach of, asking and knowing of the other person. This is where people go way beyond. Some people actually go out of bounds about this, and they became complete stalkers. I was accused of, this a long time back. So nowadays I don't do that. I don't push things, so far to gain knowledge about other people. Even though there are millions of ways I can actually go, I don't do that. Then it is a connection, and I think my way of thinking, I think we are at that point where we properly have to connect, and this is where I feel that there can be a connection, and this is where the cutoff this happens. This is a worldly thing, of a chase. So I don't have the time, I don't have the effort, I can put a lot of effort, but I don't have the time anymore to actually go deep into a chase. So I'm going to end this poem in a sad note. I'm going on a trip right now. I said earlier, I'm going to Kansas, and I'm coming on Monday afternoon, and Monday evening and Tuesday evening is it. And beyond that point, like I said earlier in the show, there is a point beyond you don't see anything. I don't see anything beyond that point.